Notif Unks versus MicroFish. These teams just traded with each other, so we're immediately going to see who won the trade. Tracer was traded for Genji. MicroFish wanted to hold on to that character. They have had him through seasons 1 and 2. They just want to keep holding on to him. Genji has not seen much success in this league. He's pretty solid DPS, but he's just been on teams that are not great. We'll see if he can make MicroFish better. Obviously, both these teams, I think, are coming off 2 loss weeks. However, it is a very important thing to note that these teams both played, I believe, Logi Swords and Rush Hour or something like that. One of them might have played. They played the top 3 teams, so it's been a rough start, to say the least. So we'll see how it goes against each other, though. Right here, right now on Blizz World. Let me go check the stats real quick to make sure. So Notif Unk's going to be on defense first here. On the ever so popular Blizz World. That feels like it makes its way into almost every series. Or maybe I just hate this map so much that I see it in every series. Let me go check something real quick. It lives rent-free in my brain. Okay, let me go check the standings real quick. I want to make sure. So yeah, Notif Unks lost to Logi Swords, and Notif Unks lost to Rush Hour, and on the other end, MicroFish lost to Rush Hour and Logi Swords. So they both played the same teams last week, and they both got cooked because those are two of the best teams we have in this league. But now they get to face off against each other to really show what's up with these two squads: Orisa Mauga and Roadhog Winston. Alright. Our tanks are locked in here. We're going to see how this goes. Obviously, Bastion making his return with this Notif Unk squad. He did win last season. On the other end, let's see, is there any champions on the other? Mauga won season 1. I think that's about it for pedigree on this roster, or between these rosters. Orisa, good start for MicroFish here. They are pushing in. Roadhog going to get some return picks, but Orisa's just actually carrying for a squad she's not even a part of right now. Carrying that fight fully almost for MicroFish. Good start for them. Genji putting a little bit of work there too. Going around here, so we're going to see another fight right here. Roadhog going in pretty deep. Mauga gonna charge in, however. Bastion just kind of shooting into nothing at the moment. Mauga versus Bastion on the side. Genji's going to be able to take a Winston. MicroFish looking pretty strong so far. Let's see if they can continue this push going. They will continue dominating the rest of that roster. They're going to keep pushing through here. So this is the success MicroFish wanted to see in week 1. They were a little bit bummed by their week 1 performance. The coach was. However, right here, they are showing up against Notif Unks. Hard to tell if the trade meant too much. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say not. I think Tracer and Genji are very equivalent DPS. I think it was more of a side grade than anything. In my personal opinion, oh my word, MicroFish, I think, was already slightly superior team due to having Bap and Junkrat. So Ana, I just don't value Ana as a support too much. Not gonna lie, she may have gotten to the All-Star game one time, but I just don't, I don't know. Every time I see Ana, I just get kind of disappointed with her performance. Okay, Orisa able to deal with the Ana in the back line. Hog gonna go down here, and this is a possible fight win here for No Diff. It's been very messy. It's been going down to half on the outside looking in. He's eventually going to fall. And so, Bap able to carry his squad forward. He's going to get us to this checkpoint. MicroFish so far looking pretty clean here against No Diff. So they have a massive time bank going into this third point. Alright. Junkrat able to take out Ana. And eventually that Roadhog will fall too. MicroFish just slowly pushing forward here. MicroFish are looking solid here against No Diff. They got to be feeling good, especially after that week 1 performance. No Diff, on the other hand, you really got to put something together here if you want to beat the squad. Bap gonna get hooked in, but it looks like he might live. Maybe the blade comes out. It's gonna find the Ana. Blade actually trying to get this hog, but man, he's 1 HP. Will eventually fall to the nanoed hog. I'm gonna see a little bit of a push coming through here. Junkrat able to take out Bastion. Mauga gonna help deal with that tracer. Only hog alive here. And they will push it in. So MicroFish blistering fast pace. They got 3:46 on the clock. They are doing very well against Michael's team. So far, even if the trade might provide minimal value for these squads, just by extension of currently MicroFish coming out on top, I do have to say I think they're winning the trade so far, at least at least from that first attack. That looked like an excellent push. Gonna stay right in this series. Gotta be a little bit worried because my team is gonna be, oh my word, they're gonna stay on that Orisa. Very good tank option here. Actually, good tank options from both sides, so almost consider that a non-factor in this matchup. See how much the hog is doing. Yeah, look at that Orisa actually like fully carrying, dude. That's funny. Look at that damage. She's doing more than Junkrat. Look how little damage Winston's doing on the other side. Just a comparison to show you how little impact an Ana can have in overbots. She's doing very little healing, less healing than Bap, as well as way less damage. So you can see that she just isn't quite that good in overbots for whatever reason, and she's dying a whole lot. So not providing much of any use to her squad, and that's a reason. This is really a reason. Don't really trust the Ana in overbots. Don't think I ever want to end up with her on my squad. Okay. Baptiste's gonna fall down, so a good start here for No Diff. See if they can get a similar story going here for themselves. Gonna be able to. There's a lot of trades happening though. Most of these trades aren't really favorable for No Diff. Tracer gonna come in here, gonna pick off one of her former teammates on the MicroFish. I think a tick is gonna come through here for this Winston, but he's eventually gonna fall to the Orisa. So he does pick up a tick on that first attack, but No Diff looking a bit outmatched here so far. And we're gonna see a Mauga swap for MicroFish, or not Mauga. I'm dumb. Never mind. They've always had Mauga. What am I saying? Orisa still on the field for them. Don't get me wrong, chat. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Okay. Mauga gonna go down to the Bastion in the backline though. And it looks like eventually MicroFish is gonna fend this off here. So a very good hold from them. They are holding back No Diff. They're looking like a pretty solid squad through and through here. And you're gonna clean up that tracer. And unfortunately for No Diff, just has been a rough couple pushes. start to see why this Winston was kind of a questionable second round pick from No Diff Unks. I was a little bit confused when I saw Winston go in the second round of of season 2 here. Okay, Bastion able to pick up that Orisa. Baptiste's gonna take out Ana. So trades happening here. Can No Diff Unks get something started? Tracer gonna pick off one. And that looks like No Diff Unks will eventually push through this one. Genji can be the last thing standing, but his former team is gonna clean him up with that Roadhog selection, and we're gonna start to see a push here. See if No Diff Unks can get anything started. But MicroFish looking firmly in control of this series so far. Just such a dominant push. Going to be hard to overcome this team. I'm going to see how my team stacks up against this squad later today. Should be another close one. Hopefully. For me. Don't want to get blown out. Winston going to go down. And Tracer going to go down. So far so good for MicroFish. If they can just get another little hold started here. Eat away some more time off the time bank from No Diff Unks. They're going to be feeling very good about their odds in this match, as they had a very good push themselves. Bap going down there is not exactly ideal. Bastion able to find a pick. Winston going to go down to the Mauga. And Genji going to get the deflect onto the Bastion, so rubbing it in a bit to his former team. Genji looking pretty solid, as it were. Junkrat pushing in pretty deep. Won't quite go for any kills, though. Just gonna back right on out. Comes the blade. It does get immediately antied. How's Ana and Tracer dealing with their old teammate? However, Ana gonna fall to a little bit of aggression. The Bastion is nanoed. That's kind of scary. However, trades are mostly favoring MicroFish right now, so Bastion making a little bit of a questionable decision, backing out. Mauga and Orisa holding down the fort for MicroFish. They're trying to hold on to this map 1 lead, secure themselves a 1-0 start to this series. Be very strong for them. Mauga gonna get antied. And Tracer gonna go down. However, here comes the Hog ultimate. Ana and Winston finding picks. However, Winston's going to go down to the Junkrat. The Hog pushing that Bap up against the wall, but not going to find the kill. The Junkrat going to get hooked in. Does the Hog find the... No, he doesn't find him. So, Tracer going to find Genji, though. Bap going to get very low. He's eventually going to fall. Junkrat's coming back. This is just pandemonium. This is nuts. This is crazy. Okay. And eventually Junkrat will fall, so... No Diff Unks eventually push through there in a very chaotic fight. But your time is so limited here. For No Diff Unks, unfortunately for the side of MicroFish, you are swapping off that Orisa to a Sigma, so not exactly the swap you want to see here. You do have that Junkrat tire though, and the time bank is such a big advantage. Maybe having the Sigma won't hinder you too much. Tire coming around, gonna find this Bastion. Oh, never mind, it finds the Tracer and the Ana, so didn't find the Bastion, but it did get 2 more. And Genji gonna pick off the Bastion. Only the 2 tanks remain. Bap is gonna fall, but Hog gonna go down here, and MicroFish gonna secure map 1 more than likely here. I think Winston's probably just gonna die, and then we probably won't see too much of a contest, so this is probably map 1 going MicroFish's way. Very solid start for them to the second week. They gotta feel good. Having Genji on their team again, it's gotta make this MicroFish owner very happy. Let's actually directly compare Tracer to Genji. So at the moment, Genji is out damaging Tracer by quite a bit. However, you gotta keep in mind that Tracer is on the losing team. So that can negatively affect your stats, even if you are playing better. And he had way more eliminations. He had like 13 more eliminations. I don't know if that's enough to call it a trade diff, but so far so good for MicroFish. They want to collect this series. This trade could be very impactful to the roster. If there is a big difference between Tracer and Genji, I don't know if there is one. But we're going to be heading into map 2 here, so it's going to be Adler's Brune. So we're going from a hybrid to yet another hybrid with MicroFish on the offense first. MicroFish currently lead this series 1-0. They're doing a great job against No Diff so far. Gonna have to see if No Diff can get something together here with this Bastion comp. Bastion, very good last season. Very good the season before. He was in finals in his first 2 seasons. However, this season it's looking new. So far, his team is struggling a bit in Overbots. Lost their first 2 matches. Of course, like I said, they did play 2 of the most powerful teams in week 1, playing against Logie Swords and Krusty Crushers, Rush Hour. Logie Swords and Rush Hour, not Krusty Crushers. In week 1 is not exactly a boon for success. Those are 2 very hard teams to win against. So, not exactly a show of strength for either of these squads. They both had to go up against that gauntlet. Unfortunately here for MicroFish, your luck on tank has flipped around a bit on you, as now you're no longer running that Orisa, and you will be running Sigma for the duration of this attack, which could be more of a hindrance than a help. We'll have to wait and find out. So we're going to have that Bastion for a little bit of help. See how that goes. Genji able to hit that deflect. However, he's going to fall. Great start here for No Diff if they want to get back into the series. They're going to clean up MicroFish quite a bit here. And Bastion just putting in work. That's a very clean teamfight victory. If you stay on this Sigma, you got to be very concerned for MicroFish. You don't want to be on this pick. One of the worst tanks we have in Overbots, as we know. And being forced into him is not always the greatest, especially for your roster. Not too many things need the protection of that tank. Well, I guess Bap does. I know, it's fine. It's fine for Bap and stuff, so it's not the worst pick in the world, but still not ideal. Just not an ideal tank. Unfortunate tank to have. Bap gonna fall anyways. And wow, okay, No Diff doing a good job so far on Eichenwald or Adlersberg. And that is going to be another team fight victory for them. See a couple more attacks coming out. We gotta hope. MicroFish really gotta hope to swap off this Sigma. Has been an awful pick for them. I know how they feel right now with how some of my picks have gone in the past. Especially going into this Hog, which is a great pick from No Diff 2 minutes 20 on the clock. Now we're gonna back off a little bit here. And a Ana for Bap trade, so Bastion for Rat trade, so very even trades coming through here. But unfortunately for MicroFish, a little bit more staying power here for the side of No Diff is going to mean they're going to hold once more. Only a few more attacks you're going to see from MicroFish to see if they can get this thing started. They did a very good, very different story here with that Sigma versus the Orisa. They did very good on their first attack on Blizzard World, but here, new ball game. Gonna try pushing it again on Bastion, getting a little bit spread out from his team. He does help take out that Bat though, and that's gonna spell disaster once again here for MicroFish, as this is looking more and more close to a full hold here on Eichenwald. That would be a very, very good result for the side of No Diff to possibly tie this thing up one apiece, headed into a map 3. They only are going to need one hold here realistically, and then they're going to need a decent push on their own offense. But there is a Riptire. The Blade is almost here. Here comes the Riptire. This could be huge. Does it find anything? It does find the Bastion. That's probably one of the biggest picks it could have. He's going to use that Blade, unfortunately, to go for the Winston, and he will die because of it. So, fortunately, though, okay, but there's only Sigma and Malga. Can Malga and Sigma get this done? It looks like they will. So, eventually, MicroFish might just barely push through this, but Roadhog's still alive on point here. Sigma doing a whole lot of nothing, as per usual. Oh my gosh. So we're actually going to see a recontest from No Defunks because of how long this Roadhog had sustained. Comes the Pulse Bomb. It is just going to find the thing, and Sigma's going to go down. Bap's going to go down, and this is looking like a full hold from No Defunks as, unfortunately for them, MicroFish, that is, Sigma, just not getting the job done at all. In this close matchup, you need your tank to be on par or better than what the enemy tank is running, and right now they just don't have that. I feel like this matchup is very even with even tanks, but since MicroFish had the disadvantage on their offense, they do just get full held stifled, as Sigma not able to quite get the job done at the end there, as we saw him just like struggling to get anything. Looks like No Defunks are going to be able to tie this thing up at 1 apiece. Question is, can they get an attack of their own started, or are we going to see a full hold in reverse? Unfortunately, for the side of MicroFish, you're sticking to the Sigma. And very fortunately for No Defunks, you are still on the hog pick, so this is very likely a 1-1 game headed into map 3. And let's see how the trade is looking now. So as you can see, being on the losing side does hold a big disadvantage, as Tracer is now out damaging Genji and getting more kills than him. So the side you're on really does matter here in Overbots. You can see the inflated stats really start to show through for that Genji on Blizzard World. And once you look at that and direct compare, it's obvious that it really matters who's winning and who's losing these matchups. So that can inflate and deflate stats. Alright, here comes No Defunks. So they only need to win 1 fight, and they will tie this thing up 1 apiece. And on the other side, MicroFish need to do a lot. They need to win like 5 or so fights in order to tie this. So Genji gonna pick off the Ana, so good start there, but Genji and Bap following does mean MicroFish are gonna get rooted, and that is more than likely a tick, and that is a tie game, 1 apiece headed into map 3. So a good matchup here between these two squads. They are looking very evenly matched, going pound for pound with each other. This is a duel of the fates. Whatever squad comes out on top could really project the trajectory of the team for the rest of the season. We'll have to see. Going to Hollywood, so another hybrid map. 3 back-to-back hybrids to start this series. Okay. I'm okay with this. We can do hybrid. You want to do hybrid game? Let's do hybrid. So MicroFish once again going to be on offense first. First offense on Blizzard World was immaculate by them. They did a full push with a monster time bank at the end, and then they proceeded to hold No Defunks to that second point. On Adlersbrunn, completely different story. They get completely stifled, and now they have a Zarya, which is going to stifle their ultimates a little bit, I think. But Zarya is still a much better pick than Sigma, so we'll see how that goes for them. Adlersbrunn, like I said, completely different story. No Defunks full hold MicroFish and win the first fight to win the map. So now it is a 1-1 game, as the series could really go either way, realistically. I think it's going to come down a lot to that tank pick. Fortunately for No Defunks, your team seems very set in stone about this Roadhog pick. It keeps going back to Roadhog every single time, and it has been working pretty well for you. Of course, Hollywood didn't go your way, but the Roadhog has definitely not been the worst pick you could have got. So you're getting in pretty deep. However, Bap's going to be the first one to fall. Naga going to be able to take out Ana, so trades for tanks. However, Roadhog getting 2. Bastion going to get 2 more. Trades, however, starting to favor MicroFish here, and Malga being the last one alive. Absolutely frying, actually. Going to start taking this point. He's going to get at least a tick here, if not more, before a recontest. Actually, I don't even think a recontest is going to come in, so there you go. MicroFish barely getting the job done on the first attack. Looking much better than Adler's Burn did, aka Eichenwald. Adler's Brune. Can't speak. Okay, here comes Roadhog. Pushing straight in. Anti does get one, but no follow-up on that as Genji is deflecting. Anna's going to be the first to fall here as she gets a little bit aggressive. However, Junkrat going to be falling in retaliation. Malga pumping in damage. Going to finish off that Roadhog. Looking for more kills here. He is going to help find this Winston, maybe. They will eventually bring down the Winston. And Bastion able to bring Zarya down, but he will eventually fall. And here comes MicroFish. They are looking very good here so far. Have to see here if Note of Unks can make anything happen. On Hollywood. I'm very curious to see how my team does up against MicroFish later today. They are looking very strong. A little bit worried. Bap gonna be the first to fall in this fight, so a little bit of an opening here. And Bastion gonna continue his reign of terror, taking down Zarya and Genji. And Hog able to take out that Maga, so Note of Unks looking like they're gonna start a little bit of a something here. Junkrat gonna back. Oh, he's gonna come back in. I don't know what he's doing, guys. He's running around like a maniac. He will come back in. He is slept on the outside. Here comes the Bastion ult. Does it just focus down this Junkrat? No, it doesn't. So it's going for something else. I don't actually know what it hit, if anything. He's going to get solo ulted, though, and pushed out by this Roadhog. Winston putting a nice little bubble there to protect his squad. Does look like he's eventually going to fall to the Genji deflect. Bap going to go down, though. Genji also traded. So Roadhog and Zarya fighting it out. However, Zarya's going to come out on the better end of that, and she's going to get the Tracer. So it looks like we're going to start to see a push here by MicroFish. Of course, a lot of their ults, I think, get shut down by having the Zarya. I don't think they get the Genji ult or the Junkrat ult when they have the Zarya, so might be a little bit rough for them. Hopefully they at least use one of those ults despite having the bugged character. If they don't use that ult, though, you just gotta hope for some good team fights. Zarya gonna get absolutely nuked here. However, she does get out with her life. They just kind of forget about her. She's very low, though, so she will eventually fall. Of course, we're not gonna see the Genji ult, not gonna see the Junkrat ult. Genji gonna go down. Looking like a rough story here for MicroFish. So they are pushing in. Malga will eventually fall here. And we got a full stack of ultimates on MicroFish's side, but they just aren't using most of them due to having Zarya, I think is the problem. Alright, let's see here. They're going around on the outside. Malga, a little bit separated. However, Junkrat finding that Tracer is a pretty big start. Blade does come out. Wait, Blade? Blade's here? Wait, we're seeing Blade with the Zarya? What? Here comes the cage. Zarya able to find one. We just saw Blade with a Zarya. What? I've never seen that before. Congratulations, Genji. You used your ultimate while having Zarya on your team. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm actually very excited about that. So despite having this Zarya that usually stifles ults, they do in fact use the Genji ult. So maybe we'll see the Zarya ult. We see the Zarya ult. I'm hoping we do at some point. Alright, so Note of Unks getting pushed out a little bit here. MicroFish going to continue this push. Junkrat going to fall though. Getting a little bit aggressive there. Okay, able to find Ana. Gonna find Bastion too. Doing a great job. Continuing to get his team to push through here. Zarya gonna get pulse bombed. She will eventually fall. However, the two tanks were so extraordinarily low that they could just die to a little bit of extra damage. And that will just be it. So MicroFish going to continue pushing here, trying to get a full map completion on Hollywood. Looking very, very much refreshed after that awful Atlas burn. Mostly can blame Sigma for that one. So you refuse to swap off Sigma. Okay. I don't know if Rip Tire is going to be used, though. Here comes some of the ultimates. Mauga going to be able to bring down that Ana. Good start here for MicroFish. However, Bap going to be traded by this Tracer. And Zarya going to be traded for Tracer. Roadhog going down. Junkrat going to fall on the other side. So trades happening here. Winston able to bring down the Genji. And all that's left is this Mauga against Bastion. Two of the S-tier heroes we have in Overbots challenging each other. However, I think Mauga eventually just going to back off. So you can feel his team preparing to make a regroup. He's going around. Going to pop this second heart. Don't know if it's going to work out well for him. He gets antied and annihilated by Winston and the rest of the squad. Bastion going to go down to the Junkrat, though. Winston going to fall next. Here comes the Blade. Could be massive. Going after Tracer, but Tracer does just recall. She's going to live. Zarya very deep in the back line onto this Ana. Hog going to be the next to fall, and MicroFish going to keep pushing this thing, but they are going to be under a minute from my estimations, and that could be a big boon for No Defunks if they do have an equally good attack. See if these respawns can get in. I don't think they will. I don't think they're fast enough with the way they move. Yep, so that will just be it. MicroFish able to get a full push here on Hollywood, so very different than Adlersprung. More similar, more akin to Blizzworld. They do finish with some time on the clock. And we'll see if No Defunks can make up the difference here. Definitely going to be interested in what these tanks pick. If they stick to the same things, could see much of the same story. It did seem like the Junkrat ult was the thing that ended up getting kind of stifled. So maybe it only stifles one ult that it wants to combo. And then they just decide not to combo with each other. So that might be the bug. We might have figured out the bug. I mean, not the actual bug, we'll figure out how it works. I thought it would just stifle any ult that could combo with hers, but maybe it just stifles the one that they were going to use. So yeah, we will see the same tank lines coming out here from both squads. See that Tracer versus Genji duel. So it's going to be 15 kills to 17. And damage, pretty similar. Who's that? Hello?
What is up, gamer?
You're currently dueling against the team you just made a trade with. Hello.
Oh, am I?
Yep, you guys are tied 1-1 on map 3. You're currently, you pushed all the way through Hollywood, and now it is No Defunks push.
Alright. I think the thing I'm most interested to see in this is how Genji and Tracer do.
Yeah, it's funny. They're doing all right, both of them.
Are they doing about the same?
I think Genji might be doing a little bit better. But you did get full held.
I did put a lot of my resources into getting him back on our team.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That checks out.
MicroFish doing a good job on defense so far. Are going to be winning these trades for the most part. If you want to join, you can get on Overwatch.
No, I do have to be up in less than 6 hours.
Oh, dang. Work.
Yeah.
Imagine working. Alright, anyways. Here comes No Defunks. For their second attack.
Are you not streaming it?
I am. Well, not streaming it.
You are?
I'm not streaming it, no. But No Defunks are going to win this one. So Bastion and Winston coming in with a few kills. They're going to get this first point on Hollywood started.
Yeah, coming into this season, I definitely thought my team was going to be one of the top teams in the league. Unfortunately.
And then you met Rush Hour and you met wait, was it Rush Hour? I think you met Rush Hour and you met Logie Swords, and they're strong. Yeah.
I think Triple Tank is pretty good. I think Rush Hour is always pretty good.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but I think Bastion by himself is pretty good.
Yep. And I mean, you're still doing good against this squad. The only map you've lost so far has been due to your team going on Sigma and then never swapping off Sigma, and then his team having a Roadhog.
Lord, I forget about the. I was planning on switching that to a DPS, but I forgot.
Next week. Next week.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, next week. Just remember to swap that slot to DPS. Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I had to hop in and just bless my team really quick so that they win.
They might. I think they might do it on this one. We'll see though.
All right.
Kite.
Well, you have a great time being in the booth all by yourself.
Yep, I will. As always.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, a little check-in from MicroFish's team captain. His squad doing an excellent job right now. Trades actually are going to favor No Defunks here, though. Sneeze, sorry. Okay. Now got fighting this Roadhog. He will eventually push him off. 1v2 on point. He is going to die, maybe? Yeah, he does die. I don't know if we're going to see a recontest coming out here. Let's see if Zarya is getting a little bit aggressive. She might go for it. Nope, going to back off. Okay. Maybe they will touch if now respawns in time. I don't know. Can MicroFish get another touch? Been an excellent push from No Defunks so far. However, Zarya going to go down here. And Bastion just reminded us why he is one of the best heroes in Overbots. Has only won one championship, though. He did lose to a Torb Zen Malga comp in the grand finals of Season 1. Wow. Okay, two bubbles absolutely melted. And No Defunks slowly pushing through here. They might just have this last point. I was saying to MicroFish they might win this, but the way this attack has been looking for No Defunks is telling a completely different story. We'll have to see here if MicroFish can get something started. Winston gonna be nanoed. Bastion able to find Bap. Junkrat gonna find the Tracer. Bastion gonna find... Wait, what did I just say? Oh, Rat. Okay. Bastion gonna find Malga as well, and Bastion gonna find Zarya. So Bastion, just being Bastion, he is one of the most powerful bots we have in Overbots, as we know. He will eventually fall to the Rat, though. We might see something start here for... Well, I don't think they're gonna touch because of how respawns work. So that will just be it. MicroFish going to have a chance on offense because they did finish with time. Oh, no, sorry. Might be able to come in for a touch. Or Genji, if they actually go in. Okay, Genji getting very low, though. Does deflect some of the stuff out of here. So, see if this works out for them. However, Malga not touching Boyd. Oh, he's but touching Boyd now. But Bastion, oh my lord. Bastion, absolute warlord. And that is looking like it's going to be it here for No Defunks. They are going to be able to push through. No way. No way, chat. Okay, they will eventually push through. No way. They will eventually push through. Okay. So they do eventually push through there. But, like I said, No Defunks not taking away the attack opportunity for MicroFish. So this is still anyone's map. It's really going to depend on who can take first point quickly. We'll see, though, what happens there. MicroFish, I think, were able to fend off No Defunks once. I believe. I can't remember for sure. However, on the other side, they struggled a little bit, too. So we'll see. Whatever team can take it on first attack will probably win this. Gonna stick to those tank lines of Zarya Malga and Roadhog Winston. Hasn't changed very much here on Hollywood at all. They have been locked into these decisions the entirety of the time, so really getting a good look at which one is better here. And so far, it's looking like Notifunks are slightly better with more time on their attack, but that could change very easily if MicroFish gets this on their first push and pushes a little bit through Hollywood. It'll look a little bit more insurmountable. On the other hand, though, if they don't get a single tick, going to look very winnable for Notifunks. So it's all going to come down to MicroFish's offense right here. They'll set the bar, and then Notifunks see if they can meet it. 1 minute, though. Only really going to get one good attack. Here comes MicroFish. They are currently tied in the series, 1 apiece. Two very evenly matched squads. Genji going in. He does have that bubble. He is going to get shredded. Junkrat, however, finds 2. So trades slowly starting to favor MicroFish here as Junkrat finds a Tracer 2. So 2 on point here. 2 versus 2. However, Junkrat is in a precarious situation. Mauga going to be the last one alive for MicroFish. Can they get the job done here? Of course, he doesn't have his team back yet. Genji going to be in here very shortly. He does push in. However, Winston... Oh, the Bastion's back, though. Zarya's going to go down so fast. The window not enough to save him. And I think that is just going to be it. Notifunks are going to hold out here on Hollywood. Unfortunately for MicroFish, this does mean you are probably going down... Well, 2-1, but we'll have to see. Can Notifunks make this push happen? Very easily. Could be a full hold in reverse. And we have only seen hybrid in this series so far. This is the closest hybrid map we've had yet. Gonna see what MicroFish pulls out on defense here. So, tale of 3 maps. MicroFish looking extremely dominant on Blizzard World. Notifunks looking extremely dominant on Adlersbrunn, aka Eichenwald. And here, this one looking pretty dang even. So we're going to see if Notifunks can push this through. They do get more attacks than MicroFish had. Does mean they'll get a couple more opportunities to crack this egg, but see if they can do it. So we're going to see about 3 or 4 pushes from Notifunks. I don't know if I've called them other names. I'm sorry if I have. Probably have, knowing me. But they do have a few opportunities here to win this. All that MicroFish can hope for now is a draw. Bastion able to find that Genji is a great early pick. Bap gonna go down next. However, some trades coming through here. Gonna start to favor... Oh boy, the tick could come in here. Junkrat, are you gonna touch? No, he's wimping out. And that will just be... Ooh, wait. Okay, yeah, that will just be it. Tracer gonna be able to cap the point. And Notifunks are gonna lead this series 2-1, headed into the final... Well, maybe final map. Map 4. Gonna have to see if MicroFish can run this back on him. Had an excellent first map, but since then it's been all Notifunks. Of course, both teams managed to push all the way through, but at the end of the day, just barely getting edged out here on Hollywood. Will result in... Okay, we can't play on Eichenwald, we just played on Adlersburg. My word, why is it all hybrid maps right now? Okay, let me turn off Eichenwald and try to get a different map. Rialto, push. Okay, so we're only seeing payload in this series so far. Only payload-related maps. If it ends here, we will only see payload in this series. However, one more opportunity remains here for MicroFish to keep themselves in this series and send us to a map 5. Has been a very two-faced series. Notifunks taking the last 2 maps in this one. MicroFish taking the first one. See if they have what it takes to take this 4th one and send us to a map 5. They are going to be repping the Orisa again, which is a huge decision. Leaps and bounds better than the previous decisions they have made. However, on the other side, Roadhog coming out once again for Notifunks is a huge pick for... What is this? Is this the 4th map in the row they've picked Hog and had run Hog the entire time? Am I crazy? Has that just happened for them? That's like such a niche and funny thing to happen that they just get Roadhog the entire series. Very good for Notifunks. Probably has set the pace for this entire series, considering they have just been solid, like having that tank solidly on their roster. One of the best tanks we have in Overbots. First pick overall in the last 2 drafts. Bap gonna go down immediately. Genji gonna fall to the Bastion, and man, oh man, MicroFish. Looking like it's gonna be a rough one here, but maybe they can get the job done. Tracer. Picking off a few of their former team there. Let's see if MicroFish can get anything started. They have had it rough in these last 2 maps. Just barely losing on Hollywood. Getting dominated on Ablisbrun. Baptiste's going to fall. However, Bastion's going to go down. That's a huge pick off that you need to see if you're MicroFish every time. That is the biggest pick you can possibly get against this squad. As Winston and Hog will just fall over. So MicroFish gonna start moving this payload soon. We will see a push starting from them, so it's gotta feel good to maybe put yourself back in this series. Send us to a map 5. Has been our closest series so far we've seen. I can't tell you that I expect one of these teams to win or lose. It has been back and forth tug of war since the very beginning. Alright, Winston. Gonna jump in on this BAP. He is gonna help claim it. Notifunks. Very dominant start here on this fight, and that's gonna lead to a fight victory. Roadhog has just been a big blessing for this squad in this matchup. I think it could be a large part of the reason they have been so dominant here. Unfortunately for MicroFish, you did get that Sigma pick that kind of threw Adler's something. Anyways, Eichenwald. Let me just call it that name because I'm more familiar with it. Okay, Bastion getting a little bit aggressive here. Could be his downfall. It will, in fact, be his downfall. This could be the opening that MicroFish need. They are going to find... not much, actually. Oh my gosh, post bomb. Actually put in some big value. Going to help deal with that horse. They got 3 alive here. Are we going to see a touch? That's the real question. As no, probably not, because all of Notifunks are currently dead. So it looks like MicroFish will continue pushing this thing through the second point. It has been a big blessing to get this Orisa. What's up? You heading out?
Yeah. Hi. Thursday, you cannot go to D&D.
Why not?
Because it is my birthday dinner.
Oh, okay. I'll tell Nehemiah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Love you.
Love you, bye. Okay. So. MicroFish going to keep pushing. Big anti coming through here. And it looks like MicroFish gonna be able to continue pushing here, so good stuff here from MicroFish. Genji getting a 3K to help push this squad forward. We've seen some heroics from both Tracer and Genji in this one. Both of them posting a very similar score here on Rialto. As you can see, they are very similar in power level in bots. So, like I said, I think it was pretty much a non-factor trade. I don't think it made either of these teams better or worse. I think it was literally just a cosmetic trade. Path gonna be taken down by Roadhog. It's a good start here for Notifunks. They're trying to get back into this one. Stop them at the end of the second point. Could be a big pickup. A much more impactful trade would have been something like Bastion for Mauga. Or BAP. Something wild like that. Of course, I don't think they'd trade Bastion for anything on this roster. I think Bastion is just trying to the best bot and over bots. I think if you have him on your team, you just can't get rid of him. It's really hard to give up that pick with how much damage it can pump out, essentially for free, since teams just push eagerly into Bastion's waiting damage. Huge ultimate combo. Oh, okay, 3 ultimates to combo for MicroFish. I don't know if that was exactly worth it, but they will grab those kills, and eventually I think MicroFish are going to start to push through this. They will, so we will see this last point here for MicroFish. Just need a little bit farther and a decent defense, and suddenly MicroFish could be bringing us to a map 5 here. So good work all around from this Orisa Mauga. The window does come through here, but oh my gosh. Genji gonna go down. Goodbye. What is he doing? Oh, he's just laying there. He realized he has to go now.
Uh-oh. Do you want to stay? I'll be back on Friday. You guys can't get rid of me.
Okay, MicroFish gonna start pushing through here. Love you, Shalene. Bye.
I'll see you Thursday night for Haley's birthday dinner.
Yep. Goodbye. Alright. Bye, Shalene.
Bye, love you.
Okay. And MicroFish going to push through this last point. They have a few ultimates to work with, and they could very well finish this map. So we could see map 5 if MicroFish continues this dominance on Rialto Orisa, being a big boon for them, as is tank selection. For 2 maps now. Genji able to take out Ana, however he's going to fall to the spam of the Hog and the Bastion. BAP going to be able to fell the Tracer, and that means right here and right now is where MicroFish are going to push this one through, and we will see an attack from Notifunks coming out here shortly. So great push from MicroFish. They do finish the map. Sorry about the little bit of distractions. So this one could go to a map 5, could be our first map 5 of the season. These teams look extraordinarily close in power. Both teams drafted in very similar fashion, it seems. Both representing a tank, double DPS, and support roster. And they both look about equal in power. So, gotta be a good sign for both these teams in this playoff hunt. Maybe you both will make it, but unfortunately for Notifunks, you are in a much tougher division with 2 of the top teams in this league. So I think it's a bit rough for them. I don't know if they'll make it. However, on the other side, MicroFish in a very weak division. With a squad like this, it might be good enough to get it done. Could see MicroFish in playoffs. Mauga making his return. Have to see, though. More of this season will have to play out for that. To be determined. My dog is now whining. Let him go say bye-bye. Okay. Here comes Notifunks. Can they attack as dominantly as they were on Hollywood? Have to find out soon. Big anti coming through. Don't know if that's going to be enough. The fight majorly happened in the back there. Bastion going to be forced out of into his turret form, but mostly going to be wasted. So he does look at this Orisa, and it's looking like Mauga versus Roadhog in the back. Orisa eventually will fall, but not quick enough. We will see a little bit of a hold from MicroFish. Eventually, we gotta assume this will be ratted out because it's so hard with this massive spawn disadvantage to continue spawn camping. Mauga almost launching the Roadhog off the map, but not quite getting the job done. Will eventually lead to a fight victory. for Notifunks. They're going to start pushing this thing, but a little bit of a spawn camp for MicroFish. Gonna feel alright about that one. Really just don't want this to snowball for Notifunks. If you are MicroFish, you want to hold them down pretty much at this point or the second point. Those are two of the easiest points to hold. The third point can be rough at sometimes, but that's mostly due to a deflated time bank. Anyways, Ana gonna go down here. Bap gonna be traded out. Junkrat gonna fall next, so not exactly favoring MicroFish. Tracer doing a very good job of getting some picks against her former team. However, Orisa and Genji just stalling out as long as they can. Does seem like they will eventually fall here. Orisa getting very deep into the back line. Genji gonna keep the stall going. I'm gonna close my door. Orisa just stalling out. Enough time for Junkrat to find a pick, but is it going to be in time or is it too little too late? I cannot tell. Mauga able to find Winston, so does seem like we might be able to see a fight win coming out of MicroFish. Mauga is antied. Hog able to find that Junkrat, and it looks like Notifunks are maybe going to push it into this checkpoint. We'll have to see. Yeah, the respawns aren't going to be in time here, so eventually they will get the job done here. Notifunks able to push through this first checkpoint with a pretty decent time bank. Could see a full map completion, and we could go to extra endings on this Rialto to determine if MicroFish are going to send us to a map 5 or not. Here comes the cage. Very aggressive cage here. The Orisa ultimate. Going to find that Tracer and the Bastion. Riptire not going to find much as it does get destroyed. However, we are going to find ourselves in a spawn camp situation with this Orisa, Mauga, Genji, Junkrat squad. Let's see here. Junkrat going to go in very deep. He's going to get hooked in midair and shredded. Oh my, oh my. Winston going to fall though. So the spawn camp can continue for a little longer to see if Orisa can find a... Oh, is he going to charge up there? I was like, oh my word, that would be quite the decision. Hog gonna get this nano. He's probably gonna finish off this. Oh, Ana's actually gonna finish off the bat, but Genji gonna be able to find that Ana in the chaos. Mauga fighting this Bastion one-on-one. Not exactly the smartest move. Bastion will win that, and that is going to result in the point going to be able to move here for Notifunks. The question is, have MicroFish done enough stall to keep Notifunks from finishing this map? I think they might have. Gonna see a window at some point from this Baptiste. Mauga could have a huge impact on this fight, as well as this Orisa. Here comes the Blade though. It's the first thing we'll see in this fight. He's gonna go in pretty deep. He does get antied though. Here comes the window. Can they find any picks? They do find the Bastion. However, Winston does pop this Primal. Let's see if he gets anything. I'm not seeing too much. Orisa going to be... Oh, Tracer. Tracer falls into the drink. And that will be it. So MicroFish able to hold out strong here. We might be going to a map 5. I'm feeling like we might be going to a map 5 here, guys. Notifunks getting a little bit held up here on this second point. Could spell disaster for them. Gonna see another push coming through here, though. They do have that Roadhog ultimate. Bastion in his turret form already. He's gonna shred through that BAP. However, Tracer does unfortunately fall again here. 2 map geometry. Not exactly ideal. Genji's going to be traded out, though. And it looks like eventually Notifunks are going to win this out. So, despite your Tracer yeeting herself off the map, Genji does, in fact, trade the air by dashing straight into a trap and getting himself capped. So, let's look at the comparison between these two. Tracer actually doing a little bit more here in terms of eliminations. In terms of damage, Genji having more deaths. Tracer dying a lot more with those 2 self-destructs. Bastion gonna fall though, so that is looking like a fight win for MicroFish. They might be able to just come back in here and win this one. Winston getting pushed off. Mauga doing a great job, and Hog's gonna fall. So looking like a very winnable matchup for either of these squads. It's just a matter of can Notifunks push through on this last fight. They will only have one more opportunity to do so. If they lose it here, it's more than likely we are going to a map 5. So Very important fight coming up here. Do have that Riptire, do have an Orisa ultimate. This could come down to those ults. Pulse Bomb also on the table here. Huge Pulse Bomb, gonna find that junk. Doesn't even... Okay, the damage doesn't even finish him off. It's something else that does. Okay. Well, something kills him before the damage does. So Genji gonna fall here for MicroFish to the Tracer. Can Note of Unks be pushed through this? And it looks like they will. So Tracer actually putting on quite a show here. As MicroFish are gonna fall. Junkrat coming back in. Gonna be able to maybe find this Bastion. Actually, Bastion able to live on barely any HP. Is gonna find the Orisa and the Junkrat, and it looks like Note of Unks are just bare. Oh wait, Genji in here. He is dead though. Okay, never mind. So Note of Unks most likely gonna barely push through this one. Bastion just doing enough work here with this Tracer. With this, they will eventually. They do get off it for a little bit, but they're gonna touch. Orisa comes back here. She does have the. Oh wait, this could be huge, and that will end it. MicroFish gonna send us to a map 5. So I was gonna yell really loud, but then I realized I couldn't. MicroFish going to win this map and send us to a map 5. So best series we've had this season yet. Looking like the two most evenly matched squads we have in Overbots. They look to be on an even playing field. They are headed to a map 5 here. Whoever wins this will take it all. Let's see what map we're playing on for the final bid. Will it be an all payload map, or will we have to see something else for these teams to win on? We're going to see Kanazaka, so a deathmatch is where this ends. We'll see how this goes. Could be a completely different result from what we've seen from the rest of the series, as deathmatch shapes up to be very different most of the time. Usually it's very one-sided in one team's favor. So we'll have to see who is the fortunate one and who is the unfortunate one in this one. Could be either side. We'll see what tanks are picked. Could have a huge impact on how the series finished. So Queen and Rom, so two solid tanks. However, no Roadhog. Good night. Looks like Queen going to lose. Well, Malga able to take out Ana. However, Rom able to take out Queen. 1-for-1 trade to start this one. Junkrat, Malga able to take out 2. Bastion gonna go down to Malga. MicroFish firmly in the control of this one so far. Rom gonna be able to clean up that Genji. Doing a great job on his own. However, I think he's eventually gonna fall. He will go down to the trap. 2-5 here. Great start here for MicroFish. Queen on this Ana, not exactly where you want to be if you are Queen. Winston all alone. Junkrat getting very low, finding this Tracer. Tracer will find him. 3-7. Malga just cleaning up, kills all over the place. I'm not really watching his fights though. And here comes Tracer going in for this fight, but that is a 1v3, and MicroFish absolutely shredding Note of Unks here on this Kanazaka. Things have completely turned around for them here. Genji getting half. Does take down the Winston. Bastion able to take out Genji, but that's all he's going to get. And MicroFish looking absurdly strong here on Kanazaka in comparison. This Queen pick has been going pretty hard for them too. Gonna find another kill for her. 15-4. Malga gonna go in on this Rom. Bastion gonna find one on the BAP. However, Malga is just going on a tear here on Kanazaka. Proven himself to be a force to be reckoned with, reminding himself who he is after Season 2. Bastion gonna find 2. Tracer gonna be able to find that rat, and 16-8. There's an 8-point difference here. But Note of Unk's gonna have to do a lot of work if they want to catch up here. So Ana gonna go down to BAP. Does BAP fall? He will probably fall to this Ramatra. He does. Here comes the Bastion ultimate. Could be massive or very lackluster. Depends on who you ask. And 19-9. This is a 10-point lead for MicroFish. They are just running away with this Kanazaka. Genji getting very low. However, not going to be quite enough done there. Ana going to fall to the Genji. And Queen going to take out the Winston. So looking like we have a MicroFish victory coming through here. It does seem to be that way anyways. 25-9. MicroFish are on absolute roll. Mauga has been dominating this lobby. Let's see, how many kills does Mauga have? He has 19 kills, most in the lobby. Oh my word. He's been absolutely popping off on this map. MicroFish looking like they're going to claim a 3-2 victory over Notifunks. Rom going to push in onto this squad. Going pretty deep for this. Queen, oh, okay, Queen ult, and that's 31-9. Absolute domination coming through here for MicroFish. They are looking like a force to be reckoned with here on this map. Queen versus Winston, probably going to result in a Queen win. I can't imagine Winston pulling that one off. He will go down, and that is 33-9. Only 7 more kills remaining here for MicroFish to claim map 5 in the series and the dub, and it's looking more and more likely as this map continues. Bap getting very low. He will fall to Tracer. Ana versus Mauga. Does look like Mauga is going to win that one. Bastion going to be able to take out Queen over here and the Junkrat, but that's not going to be enough. There's only 4 kills remaining here. Looking like Tracer could be the next one, although Mauga might go... Oh, Genji goes down. Rom will go down, so only 3 kills left here that are needed. Let's see. Bap does get slept on the high ground, but I don't know if that's going to be quite enough. Bastion's going to come up behind him, but only 2 kills remaining for the squad. They only need 1 more. Bastion looking like he's going to be the last one to fall. Do they get the pick? No, they don't. Not quite. Going to swap to Doom, but that's not going to be enough. Bastion going to go down to the Rhine. Didn't even notice they swapped to Rhine. But MicroFish going to win this one 3-2. Very, very tight series. This is looking like the best series we could have all year. These teams are in different divisions, so we won't see them face off again, but absolute glorious matchup here. Fun to watch. And I believe MicroFish's team captain is going to be very happy about this one. I'll be posting the VOD shortly.